everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice, and if you have any feedback to offer to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know. So, I don't know for those watching, it's a little janky today. We are moving studios.
We're relocating.
And it's going to be great. It's positive. However, there are also other things moving within the clinic, and we
have a small gym.
In front of us. It's good for our mental and physical health here, for the two people that use it, but it's in the way. And we're also holding these microphones, which is a workout in and of itself.
Yes.
It's really heavy.
Really getting our workout in today.
I know.
After this podcast, we're going to do some weightlifting.
So Harrison's going to have to edit a lot if our voices go in and out because our arms get tired. Or they start to shake.
She's already both arms. You're holding with both hands.
I got to save my strength. I guess I should just do one then. Okay, well, this is going to be interesting. Okay, let's hammer home. We have no hammer. We could use this.
Yeah, this looks like a hammer.
Harrison would like it if we use this.
If we start banging the mics on everything.
Okay, give us reviews, people. We only have two. We got two.
We got two. Okay, that's what I thought. Hey, that's better than last
better
episode. We had none.
We need to update. Oh, for all those who didn't hear that, which is everyone, someone left a review that said they loved our cocktail episode, which was around Christmas time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So go and watch that episode.
Maybe we'll make more drinky drinks.
Yeah,
Did you see it?
Too. No, but I heard about it. Yeah.
That was really fun.
Discussing.
We need to do it
We
again.
just do it for fun. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, just do a different theme.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw a trend that was like party, but bring your own platter of whatever. So you could pick a color and you brought a color of something, or people brought like donuts and then Taco Bell and like random stuff.
Yeah.
So cool party thing.
Ideas.
Good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So we have a special guest. Her name is Dr. Lauren Schmok. Schmoky for short. She's here today in place of Emily King. And so, yeah, our biggest thing is we're trying to get to 100.
Yes,
100 reviews on Apple Podcasts, and we're going to make Devyn do something.
Would you like to hear our ideas?
If we get to 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
we get to 100.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
when we get to 100.
We have a couple ideas. One of the ideas that was thrown out was a milk mile.
Okay.
So you drink milk. I don't know, but it's one that we keep mentioning, so I'm going to say it again.
That's just
You drink milk and then you run, and pretty much like you are prone to vomit. And then the other one is King came up with this one last time, and I really like it. We just smear food all over her.
Oh.
And then dogs come and just lick it all off her. We lay her on the ground, and all the dogs just come and have a party, have a buffet on Devyn.
Someone suggested I try all the canned food.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Oh.
I like that one too.
Yeah. I mean, we're averaging 2 reviews in the last like 6 weeks, so it's going to be a while. So I think you're
2025.
I think you're sitting pretty. I think it'll be
Wow.
all right.
Yes.
Okay. Everyone want to introduce themselves?
Sure.
How are you doing?
I'm Devyn, and I'm doing swell.
Oh, nice. Swell.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you want to reintroduce yourself
Sure.
and say something about yourself?
Yeah.
I am Lauren Schmok. I've been at All-Star for 2.5 years, and I've been on the podcast a few times, so it's always fun. I feel like this is like Dr. King's not here, so it's, I don't know, there's no rules. We can say whatever.
Ah,
Boss
I
lady's
gone.
We're unsupervised today.
Mom's not here.
I'm Courtney. Oh, we should all say how long we've been at the clinic. That's a good idea.
Okay.
I've been here for 7 years, almost 8 this April. And I'm doing fantastic today.
Wow. Okay. That's because you got new hair.
I got my hair
too.
done. If you're
Nail.
watching it, I got my album already on my nail.
Oh, wow. Look good. Feel good.
Yeah, I'm a new person.
Yes.
I will be here 2 years in May.
Nice.
That's crazy.
I am Dr. Ashlyn Duckwall, and I started in, oh my gosh, it'll be 5 years this year.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Half a decade. It's a whole hand. High five. Okay. Oh, I'm doing great.
Great.
Doing great.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
I
good.
just ate pasta though for lunch, so ask me in 2 hours. It's gonna be rough.
Food coma.
I had pasta too.
What'd you have? What kind?
It was like Thai rice noodles.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I had just Alfredo, chicken Alfredo. We always eat chicken
You don't like
Alfredo.
chicken Alfredo. That's crazy.
Okay, this is a new section, it looks like. So let's see how this goes.
The affirmation.
Yeah.
Yes, this is new.
Yeah, we have not done this.
No.
Give each other a few
Duckwall started this,
affirmations.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
That's true. You're welcome. I
Yeah.
did do it unintentionally a couple episodes ago.
She's like, let's do affirmation.
Yeah. And guess
Love
what? We
it.
were all
We
really
are.
happy.
I love
So-
it.
Women uplifting other women.
Yes.
Love
Switching
it.
hands.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
I'm giving one of you an affirmation.
I think
feel
you
like
give
we should-
everyone an affirmation.
I say we give ourselves an affirmation, then give everyone else an affirmation.
Okay. Yeah. Love it. Okay.
Wow.
I
You
need
go
a
first.
second to
Oh,
think.
me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not
I
going.
know. It's a lot
Okay.
of pressure on the spot.
Okay, I'll go
What?
first because
Okay,
I have
go.
a surprise.
Oh,
boy.
gosh.
It'll take the place of the bag, the surprise
Okay.
bag that we forgot this year.
This year?
What?
Or this podcast.
Today.
I'm sorry, today. It's called Ode to My Colleagues.
Oh,
Is this a poem?
Kind of.
Did you write it?
Yes.
Okay.
You had time for this?
Oh no, I just thought of it when I woke up this morning. It just anyway.
Thinking about us when she wakes up.
To her.
Oh Devyn, you're our little Pop-Tart. You are so good at your job. You give it so much care and heart.
Is that right?
Okay, Dr. Seuss.
Tart and heart.
Oh, yes. Well done.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Oh Courtney, you make your job look so easy. You are the definition of hardworking, and I'm not just being cheesy. Oh Schmoky, you are so smart and sweet. I get to work with you daily, and that's really, really neat.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
There's your
really good.
affirmations.
Wow,
That's really
Love
good.
it.
Thanks. I just started rhyming when I woke up, and
Wow.
I
You
ran
gotta
with
do
it.
that every
Oh.
time.
Yeah. Your skills.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Ode to my colleagues
Right.
by Ashlyn
Yourself?
Duckwall. No, I didn't know I was included.
You could give yourself an affirmation. You're a poet now?
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, Ducky,
I'm-
oh, Ducky. How did we get so lucky?
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll
That's all
take
I
that
got.
one. Okay. Someone else is up.
All right, we
Okay.
gotta follow that.
Right?
You
Anybody?
guys are always just great. Like as a team, this kind of goes into our question that we have coming up later. But for those listening, you didn't know this. This is all a team surrounding me, and they're just always awesome at being efficient and getting stuff done. And you're always like, zip zap zoo.
Love that.
And their clients love them. And Courtney is the technician, obviously. Devyn's the assistant, and Duckwall is the doctor, and they just work really well together. But this kind of comes back into play at the end, where just having that team consistently is so helpful because you guys know your clients well, and then you can kind of predict what's going to happen, what the recommendation is going to be, and it just makes it so much of a better experience for owners when they see the same people all
agree.
the time.
That's sweet.
You guys are rocking it.
Shimoki, wow.
You could give yourself
So
an
sweet.
affirmation.
Oh boy.
I am
don't
kind.
know.
I
Do we hear?
I've been feeling good. I was just telling my husband, I feel like I'm at the point after being here for 2.5 years, like I'm seeing clients back to back or over again to where we're forming relationships, and it's nice. You just form connections, and I'm like feeling that a lot over the past couple months where they're just so appreciative and they know you, and it makes it a lot better for everyone involved. So I've been feeling good.
Nice.
Special.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yay. Mine is not as long, but Schmoky, I think you're great at staying calm,
Oh.
and you just always seem like you're so collected.
Yeah.
On the
Mhm.
outside.
Yes. I don't think I've ever seen you like display stress.
Oh, well, thank
So-
you.
She
Never
really
seems
good.
frazzled.
Totally, yeah. Well,
Courtney, I think Duckwall said it beautifully. I was gonna say you're super hardworking. Thank you. You're super hard. Duckwall,
What's up,
you're
girl?
a poet now. But I think you're
Get
really
that under the belt.
caring, and you're always like looking out for us, checking in, seeing how we're doing, and it means more than you know.
Thanks.
Wow.
So we're just giving each other compliments. Okay.
My affirmation for myself.
Oh, sorry.
I was just
Whoa.
gonna say that I've been growing out my natural nails for 2 weeks, and I'm really proud of them.
Those look
And they're like
good.
the longest and strongest. And
I was gonna say, are they
best
strong?
yeah,
Are you putting stuff on it to keep
Mhm.
them strong?
like strengthening coat.
Nice.
Good
But I'm
job.
proud.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Did you shape them too?
I did.
Dang, girl.
We're gonna open our own nail salon.
Courtney, the accent.
Oh, sorry.
It always
No
comes out
accents
when she's
allowed.
talking about her nails.
I Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Courtney, you're up.
Okay. Oh, my eyes are watering. Duckwall, I think you're an amazing mom. It's cool seeing you be a mom. It's just like it's cool seeing you be a mom because I knew you before you were a mom.
Yeah.
And then seeing you be a mom is really cool. So I think you're a
Thanks.
fantastic mom.
Helen.
Yeah. Helen. Devyn, I think you're a fantastic cat mom.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You just like, I don't know, it's cool. Like you just love your cat and it's cool to see the relationship. Like, cause when people think about cats, I feel like they don't think about like them being as
Like he's my child.
no. But, well, kind of. I birthed him. No, it's like people think of like dogs as more of like the companionship because cats are usually more. But like he's like your little dog. He's like a dog cat.
He's my buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna play off Devyn's because you're very calm and collected, and I feel. I mean, not that none of us are. You're just like the little like calm little bubble floating around the corner. Like you just like make everyone feel better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you never seem distressed. Oh,
It's your turn. Yeah. Don't forget your son.
The past couple weeks, I think I've been a really good wife.
Oh.
Been very
that's a good
supportive.
Nice.
I've been my husband's rock.
Yes.
Good.
This is, he's had some family stuff, so
Nice.
I've been
I'm sure
I've
he
showed up and
appreciates it.
Yeah.
too.
yeah, he does.
Okay.
Oh my God. Look at us.
Oh, that was a good
Glowing. Oh, good job, Harrison. He makes our itinerary. Okay, case collections. So it's your first time. We talk about a case. That's something that's cool or interesting.
Mhm.
So, wow. I'll go first just because it's not mine. It's my coworker, Dr. Dudley's, but it was too cool not to share. And she never is on here because she's busy. So, okay. She just had a new patient yesterday and it looked like it was like a lab, but it was newly adopted. And they just said that the dog was bothered by the ear and it would cry or yelp or something like that when they touched it. So basically thinking ear infection, our standard protocol is the assistant or tech, whoever goes in there will get the swabs and then look at them under the microscope, report to us, and then we evaluate with an exam. So this dog, I believe I saw it was 4 years old. So what was really weird is that Whitney, who performed the ear cytology for Dr. Dudley, was like, there's some weird cells on here. I don't know what these are. So then she called her over and the weird thing is that it was actually fungus growth on the cell, which is super abnormal. So to put it in other terms, basically it was like mold. We were looking at mold under the microscope and it had all characteristics of fungus that you don't see fungus in the ear. It's very, very, very rare. And so Dr. Dudley saw that and it was like repeated. She did another sample and everything. So she actually had to call a dermatologist and ask because we never see it. I don't think she's ever seen, I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. And so they submitted it for a fungal culture to identify the species and everything. But you have to get the animal started on oral antifungals like right away. And she said like the weird thing was the ear was not that red. It wasn't swollen. The material in there was like black, which it usually is not.
Yeah.
And like the dog wasn't super, super painful, just uncomfortable. So it's just all super weird.
That's crazy.
How this happened. And yeah. So foreign body is on her list as to why, like something stuck in there. Did it migrate? Did it? I don't know. So
It's just the one.
just the one. Yeah, just one ear.
Oh, it's just one ear?
Yep.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. And she couldn't see past like down to the eardrum. And so,
Because it was just so gunky?
yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. So weird. And we looked at it. She saved the slide so we could all learn from
I was
it.
gonna
and it
I was gonna
just-
ask if we had the slides,
Yeah.
so I'd like to
Cool.
look at it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
Yeah. The spores
Anything
are like
topically?
little balls and they're poking.
no, they said the
That's
dermatologist didn't say, well, because you don't really have any good options. She did do the Triz keto ear flush because it has ketoconazole in it. Excuse me. But then she'll do oral. I think she did fluconazole. I'm not sure. But
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
yep.
I'm glad you found
Huh.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
found
it.
the slide.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess the point of that, and she had mentioned it too, is this is why we do ear cytologies is because you literally can't know what's in the ear and what's infecting it unless you look under the microscope. And it would have been completely missed because fungus and mold is not on our radar as
No, yeah, that's the last
causes.
thing we would think of in an ear.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And if the owners decline the cytology, you're like, okay, here's some ear
And then it
meds, and
wouldn't
then it
have
could have
worked.
gotten worse, and it could
Exactly.
have caused more issues, and
gotten into the middle ear,
Yeah.
which then so
could have been a whole nother. Ooh,
yeah. So
that's
we'll let
crazy.
you know how it
Yeah.
responds.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I can do mine real quick. Mine's
Okay.
short.
Okay.
So I had a 7-year-old female spayed dog that came in for well, I'll just say it up front. This was my dog. I can't even get around it. So this was my dog, and you guys all know the crazy owners that freak out and want to do everything and panic, and I am that owner. So
I think we all are.
yes, it's so funny because
No, I am. I x-rayed my whole dog when he just didn't eat a meal.
Yes.
One meal.
Yes, I can attest. I did the X-rays.
some vets here are like, oh, it'll be fine, like Dr. King, but
Yeah.
a lot of us are like,
All
oh
of
my
our
gosh.
medical knowledge goes out the window when it
Yes.
comes to our own
we
animals.
just
the
know the
resources.
worst case scenarios,
Yes.
and it makes it tough.
Mhm.
But anyway, so she was licking her paw, and I'm like, she's never had allergies. This is weird. But my other dog was licking her paw. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I looked between her toes, and she had an infection, but she had like a marble size raised pink mass on her toe. And I immediately thought, this is, tumor, mast cell tumor. This is, her whole toe's going to have to come off. So I brought her in. We did a fine needle aspirate. I just take a little needle and poke it and send it out to the lab, and it just came back as inflammation. So it wasn't super helpful. Tough spot to really biopsy or do much, but I treated it with antibiotics for about 2 weeks, and I'm working on my patience with treating her because I want to see results right away, and nothing was happening with it. So I ended up anesthetizing her and doing what we call an excisional biopsy. To biopsy it, try to get all of it. I knew if it was cancer, I wasn't going to get margins just with the location that it was in. Sent it out. It came back as ringworm. And I was just like, what in the world? I was not expecting that, but it is a blessing because it wasn't cancerous.
Yeah.
A lot of our cancers on the toes are tough because you do have to take the whole toe, really. And in her case, that was a weight-bearing toe. So dogs have 2 digits on each paw that support most of their weight. And that was one of hers, and I didn't want that for her or I. But it was ringworm, and ringworm can look like anything.
Yeah,
which
no
is
kidding.
frustrating.
Yeah.
It was
It's
crazy
crazy.
because I saw it, and she was really painful too.
Yes,
when
she
we
would
touched it.
scream when I
Yeah.
would try to poke it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, ringworm can be flat. It doesn't always have to be in a circle. It can be raised bumps, and what we call this typically is a carry-on. And the good thing about that is it's less infectious to other animals or people. So luckily, no one in my house got it. But it's kind of a dome around the infection that forms, and they can take months and months to go away. But I just took it off, so
It's gone.
expedited that process.
my
It's crazy. I've never seen ringworm like that. And then Bailey had it too.
Yeah.
Amber's another girl that works here.
Huh.
Bailey had this.
Man.
It presented the same exact way, and I've never seen ringworm look. I didn't know it could look
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I had no
That's
idea.
interesting.
I didn't see
Looks
it.
like a mass.
Yeah, it commonly will pop up around the nose when it looks
Yeah.
like that, but I hadn't seen it on a foot before. But yep,
Wow.
veterinarian dogs and vet techs dogs, and anyone who works
They get all
here,
the fun stuff.
they get all the fun,
Yeah.
interesting things.
It's inevitable.
For ringworm.
Yeah, but I've
Anesthesia and
happened-
everything.
Yes, yeah.
I know a doctor, not at this clinic, but she amputated a toe because the carry on, the growth was so nasty and characteristic of something malignant. So they amputated because that was honestly the better scenario, and it did come back ringworm.
Yeah.
That's wild
Yeah.
to me that it can look that way.
Yeah.
It's
But dogs
crazy.
do, they do fine if you have to amputate.
Mhm.
It's just, like you said, you don't want it for them.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So my husband put a ban on me for surgery for my dog for at least another year, but
Oh my
we'll get that
God.
dental done sometime.
Buckle up, everybody.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I had a type note. Sorry.
Oh
I just only
my
have one hand, so I'm
goodness.
trying to flatten it out. Okay. So this conveniently is a Dr. Schmok patient.
Oh.
Or was. Let's get started. So last
All right, let's get started.
Last summer, last June, we had a new client, new patient. It was a 1-year-old Shepherd Golden Retriever mix. He presented for lethargy and non-weight bearing of his left hind limb. The owner had let us know that the patient had been hit by a golf cart a week prior and that his left hind paw had been run over, creating a laceration on like the medial aspect of that paw. They had a family member who worked in medicine and recommended suturing it. So the owner, using thread needle, sutured it, or stitched it up, I guess, and applied Neosporin and a bandage, and then just left the bandage on, because they didn't know any better to not change it every day. But then at the clinic here, the paw was super swollen that you could see down to the tendon, who was obviously extremely painful. So we initially planned on like debridement, bandaging, antibiotics, pain meds, etc., like this long process, which would be performed under sedation. And then the owner expressed some financial concerns, so we kind of had to discuss options. We discussed care credit, which is just like a credit card, and relinquishing the patient to All-Star. So they decided to surrender him to us. And then we took over his care, proceeded with x-rays to rule out any fractures, and found dislocation of his left hip and a possible acetabular fracture. Is that how you pronounce it? Which is just like the pelvis hip.
Yeah.
Okay. Part of the joint.
Okay. So we tried putting his hip back in place, but it wouldn't stay since it had been out of socket for like a week. And then at that point, we were considering an FHO versus amputation of the limb and just decided on the amputation. So we did some blood work, sent it out, including a Acuplex, which is a tick and heartworm panel, because the patient had been covered in ticks upon arrival. So we sent that out. Blood work came back relatively unremarkable, and his Acuplex was negative, which is good. We did his amputation, and then the technician that had actually been working closest with him during his recovery and whatnot ended up taking him in. So he is now for dog. He's doing fantastic. They did 12 weeks of therapy, and she says that he's as mobile as her other dog with 4 legs. He's doing fantastic. And then we just reached out to blood work and his Acuplex 6 months later, because it can take 4 to 6 weeks for tick-borne diseases to pop up after exposure and 6 months for heartworm. And it came back negative. So he is go, buddy.
Yes, that was perfect. That was a great
I
summary.
feel that.
Literally, I spent like an hour on this.
He is literally also one of the happiest dogs you'll ever meet in your life. And despite going through all that, like, he is so happy.
He probably stayed here for like 2 weeks, and we would come in on the weekend and hang out with him.
Everybody grew very attached to him.
Yes.
So it's awesome that he got to stay in the All-Star family.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's important to mention like relinquish.
I can't.
Relinquishing.
Yes, doing that. I'm not even going to try. Can be very difficult for the owners, and so they actually were showing love to the dog so that he could still get the care
For sure.
because
In his best interest.
the alternative
It just shows how much they
wasn't
loved
gonna be
him.
good. Yeah.
Instead of taking him home,
Yeah.
letting him be in pain.
They wanted him to get the care that we could provide.
Yeah.
So
and found a good home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It turned out
a year
well.
old, so
Yeah.
he has a full life ahead of him.
Oh, he was also completely shaved when he came in.
Yeah.
He had a haircut.
Oh, yeah.
And now that he has all of his hair back, like he looks like a shepherd.
He's
Oh, really?
But he was like,
he's just like a golden
he
shepherd,
was
really.
completely
Yeah.
shaved when he came in. They gave him a haircut.
Yeah, I was on maternity leave, but I saw pictures and I feel like I've heard about him so much. So
He has a full coat now, and he's a handsome dude. He's awesome.
I want to see update
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
He comes to visit, so
Every time he
We'll
comes
see
on a
him.
Tuesday,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
get to see him.
We'll have to schedule
He's
a
so cute.
visit. Yes, it's good. And it was, I said it was the hind limb. So he's able to support himself a little bit better with having both front limbs.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets
outcome.
around so well.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the
Mhm.
week of his surgery, he was like up and running in the play yard.
Yeah.
Like he
The
didn't
next
even,
day.
he acted
Yeah.
like he never even had that leg
Yeah.
ever.
Wow.
He's awesome. Dogs are resilient.
He's
Blows my
probably like,
mind.
my pain's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think if the hip wasn't out, you would have been able to save the leg? Or I guess there's the fracture
I
too.
think that was our goal before we took x-rays, to just try our best with antibiotics and bandage changes and things, debriding. But once we took the x-rays and realized how bad it was out, we Dr. Jones and I tried to get the hip back in under anesthesia even. And because it had been out for a week, all of that like muscle and tendon contracted and there was no way, like we could not get it back in. And she did the amputation that next day and it was a tough amputation just because everything around it. So I guess the point of that is if it is out, it's best to address it sooner rather than later if you are going to try to salvage it. But there's a chance. I don't know if it would have recovered, but he had been non-weight bearing for that whole time. So he had already adapted to using 3 legs anyway. So by taking that pain away, he was like, I'm good.
You're like a new man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it worked out.
Yeah.
And they can do fine on 3 legs.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay. Good stuff. We're cooking. Let's get it started, right?
Let's get it started.
I just thought of that song, Black Eyed Peas. Okay, listener questions. This is a good one, so buckle up. Hi, guys. I love the pod and have been enjoying it a bunch. I do have a question. What do you guys think about a mid-level position in vet med? I know the AVMA recently said it wouldn't be a good idea and basically said no. I know some vets who agree it would be beneficial, and I know some who believe giving techs a wider scope and a protected title would be more beneficial. What do you guys think? I'm currently enrolled in a vet tech program, and I definitely believe the title should be RVN, Registered Vet Nurse. At Ethan Whitley, roll 1621.
You forgot the dash.
Sorry. That is such a good question. And it's definitely a very new topic still. I mean, I know the AVMA spoke on it in last January, but I think that's what the article said. But it's still very new. So
What you got back there?
Oh, I printed the article, said article from the AVMA, because I had heard mixed things as well. And so I wanted to kind of see the foot they were standing on as far as their defense of why or why not. So, but I'm curious to think what you guys' thoughts are first.
Wait, so she's saying, I don't understand the mid-level position in vet med.
That's
what does that mean?
It would be like similar to like if you had a human nurse and then a nurse practitioner. Is that kind of like a step up? And I think a lot of it stemmed from there is a shortage in the vet field in general, but veterinarians especially, and people not being able to get in same day or even next day for their pet, and just a shortage nationwide, especially with the pandemic, and now there's more animals than ever. And so I think it was a thought that was thrown out there, but the AVMA has put a position statement out, and you can Google it and see all their reasoning. And I do stand by or agree with a lot of what they're saying about it. And one of the points they brought up, which I think is a good point, is basically with that position, you're creating a brand new position and you're kind of taking responsibility and roles from the vet side and then the vet tech side and making a middleman. But if you think about it, with a vet and a vet tech together working as a team, like there really should be no gaps to fill. So then it kind of, there's a big gray area of like, what is their role? Who's liable? You know, things like that. So
I did not know this was a thing.
Yeah, that's not the way I interpreted it, but I like that.
I think my biggest like immediate reaction is it doesn't make sense because our vet techs already, or vet nurses, I agree it should be nurses, honestly. I think that title fits more appropriately, but they don't get the credibility, the affirmation, the financial support that they need in general now.
Preach.
And so now you're trying to create this new position that's going to take away from that.
Yeah.
But then there's such a fine, I think one of their things was, how do you even create that? Like, how do you create the educational realm with it?
It's a whole new school system.
Yes. How do you test them for it?
Yeah. What do you add into the vet tech school to make it? Because like I don't know, I mean, people aren't educated about these kind of things, but there's literally only 5 things that a vet can do legally that a technician can't do. So like you said, what do you take from that?
Right.
And then, I don't know how much it would benefit.
It just is too sticky. It just doesn't make sense. I think they did mention in this article, I think the supporters of it, and I'm sure there's also small animal supporters, but it's a large animal community where it doesn't help the veterinarian, or it doesn't make sense financially for their business or what have you to go see 30 different cows in different places in a day, because they just can't do that. So I think the thought in the rural areas was, okay, what if, you have someone who's trained to do pregnancy checks, or, just things like that, where then the veterinarian DVM could go treat the sicknesses or something.
That would make sense. Yeah.
But then it's still like, you can't even get enough people to come do those things in general. How are you going to convince them? And they mention it. How are you going to convince them to come do that with just a new position?
I agree.
And with large animal too, like that is one area where there's a huge shortage. You're not only worried about that cow, like that patient, that's a huge public health risk to everyone, that cow is probably going to go into the food chain at some point. And so there's a lot of downward effects from a decision like that. So yeah, I think there would be so many challenges with adding that in. It just, the AVMA was just not supportive of that.
Yeah. I think retention of employees is already difficult as well.
Yes.
So again, you're trying to add in yet another branch of it that you're going to have trouble filling. Either you're going to fill that position because it's going to have some nice enticement to the title or the financial component, but then you're going to lose a lot of capable veterinary nurses. So it's just a spiral.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think technicians, like, I feel like that's already like an appropriate mid-level position. I don't think there's a need for something in between that and a vet, because like Courtney said, I mean, there's already only 5 things.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Because I don't see myself like I'm guessing like it'd be like a nurse practitioner where we would be able to prescribe medications, but I'm not running into like a whole bunch where I'm like, man, I just wish I could prescribe this animal meds right now. Like, it's not, I don't know. I don't feel a need for it personally, and I'm in the field. So
I mean, sure, there are like situations where I'm like, we can guess what Dr. is going to do.
Right. We just need the okay, which it's not that many hoops to jump through. Like,
And I think too, like a big problem we hear about, not so much here at this clinic, but I've seen it before in other clinics, is people or clinics aren't using their vet techs to their full capacity. And if everyone did that, and everyone had, for example, here we have a 1-to-1 ratio of a doctor to tech, which is amazing. And not a lot of places have that ability. But if you did that and you use them to their full capacity, I don't even think this would be getting brought up.
I completely agree. That's a very good statement. I totally, because I've heard like technicians who come and work here, friends that I have, they work at clinics. They're like, we don't even get to draw blood. We don't even get to vet. Like, they're not using, the doctors do it all. But then that's not using the doctor's time wisely, because they could be doing things that we can't do. So I don't think, like you said, they're not utilizing their skills the way they should be.
I liked the statement that it's in the same article, but it's from the National Association of Veterinary Technicians in America. And so it's the board, and they stated that their recent survey shows a strong interest in title protection for credentialed veterinary technicians, optimizing engagement of veterinary technicians, and increasing wages and compensation as more immediate priorities than creating this position. And I agree with it. I echo it. I think that all of those things need to be addressed appropriately and at the utmost before even considering something different.
For
sure.
I agree.
It's a great question, though.
Yeah, it is a really
I
good
would love
question.
to hear like the thoughts behind the vets, the vet nurses, whoever in the industry who is in support of it. Like, I'm just truly curious of like what their thoughts are.
That has never crossed my mind. That just caught me by complete surprise. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand with the pandemic how it just skyrocketed. There's just not a lot of, I don't know, availability. And
I feel like there's already a shortage of veterinarians, and I don't want that to take away from even more veterinarians.
Right.
Like, like I'll take one less step and I'll just be a practitioner or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then how would they figure that out with school? Because you guys go through, obviously, years and years of schooling, and there are accelerated programs for techs where it's only a year and a half.
Yeah.
So we need to find the middle ground.
I don't really know how educationally, too, they would separate it. Like, how do you pick, of everything that we learn, how do you pick what would be appropriate for the mid-level and not? I just,
Well, and the licensing, too. Like, if the thing was, okay, techs or whatever can now prescribe meds, how do you, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the credential that you have to have. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I read that to prescribe, it would take an act of Congress, and all 50 states would have to agree.
Oh, yeah.
That's just never
agree.
never going to happen, because I think right now there are 9 states that don't even have anything about techs needing to be licensed, like in their practice.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not. We need to work on that first, before we're like jumping to another step.
Yeah.
Agreed.
How do you guys feel about RVN versus RVT?
I'm all behind it. I like the way RVT sounds, but when you say I'm a technician, they're like, oh, so you do nothing. Like, it's just,
no, I understand
it's not
the logic behind it.
I mean, it's the same thing. They're not educated, but nurse sounds a hell of a lot more professional and like, oh, you're a nurse.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
not just, I don't think technician has the respect aspect.
I get that.
I think it just fits your job description better. Like, it's a more of a global, like,
understanding.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone has a pretty good idea of what human nurses do. And you're the same thing just for animals. Yeah. So it's, I think, more for like the lay people or the people outside of our industry, I guess, to have a, but then again, it's like, well, should we care what they think? I don't know. It's about respect, I think, too. So
and consistency, I think it will help.
Fascinating.
Yeah, good question.
Good talk.
That's a great question.
I like calling this the pod too.
Yeah, the pod.
I love the pod.
We're a pod.
Cool. It just reminds me of Love is Blind on Netflix, how they meet in the pods.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
It is.
I love
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a show. It's like a social experiment,
Interesting.
but I'm sure it's edited.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's good. It's good.
It's
Recommend it.
neat.
Okay. Outro. You want to take us out, Schmokey?
Oh, sure.
Lots of pressure.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Remember, send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoy this episode or a previous one. We'll see you in a few weeks for the next episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.
In our new location.
Maybe.
TBD.